Good morning, everybody. We can do better. Good morning, everybody. Excellent. Great to see you all here. Welcome to Nairobi. Nairobi is a very special place. This is the town and the city in which I was born and bred. And Nairobi has a very special culture that I want to tell you about this morning. And before I do that, I should probably start with my name. For those who do not know me, my name is Simeon Oriko. I'm the Director of Community at Mojo Loop Foundation. It is really, really good to have you all in my city and to see new faces and familiar faces. I'm curious, if this is the first time you're joining us for a Mojo Loop community meeting, can I see you by a show of hands? Could you please rise? Oh, look at that. Oh, that is such a good number. Thank you so much for joining us. You're very welcome. All the usual folks appreciate you. Now, I don't understand why the regulars sat on this side and then the new folks sat on this side, but it's great to have you nonetheless. Nairobi. Everything is possible in Nairobi. Everything. Ask any Nairobian, ask Robert, he'll tell you. Everything is possible in Nairobi. Nairobians have a very strong go-getter culture, and Nairobians try and make things happen at all costs, in every way, in everything. And that is a culture that we will bring into this convening. You're in a city where the deals that you want to make, the conversations you want to have, the decisions you need to make are all possible in this space. This entire city's culture, this entire city's spirit is literally behind you. So we do encourage you to try and get as much as you can done here today. Do not put off for tomorrow what you can do today. Now, we have tweaked our community meetings a little bit to help us achieve this. You will notice from the program, that we, for this convening, we have breakouts starting day after tomorrow, I believe. But even in the sessions tomorrow, we're not going to do our usual report outs. We're going to have a conversation. And these conversations are not conversations happening in the blue. They're happening in the context of the decisions we need to make in order to move forward and keep growing and keep going forward. So as the presenters come and speak all through the day, all through the sessions, please keep in mind that our goal is to come up with a list of decisions or action items that helps move us forward. That said, it really is good to see you all. What else do I need to tell you? We have awards for the most smiley person in the room. At the end of the week, we have awards for the person who's spoken to the most number of people. We have a very special gift for the people who it is their 5th convening. Actually, I'm curious. If this is not your first convening, please stand up. If this is not your first convening, please stand up. Okay. If you have been to more than 3 convenings, if you've been to more than 3 Mojo Loop community meetings, please keep standing. Wow, okay. If you've been to more than 4 community meetings, please keep standing. Okay? If you've been, now I think I've only been to like maybe 7, so if you've been to more than 5 community meetings, please keep standing. 6? 7? How many community meetings have we had? 8? 9? 10? Yeah, I think at this point it's just Miller and Matt. and Sam, yes. Thank you guys. It's really good to see your commitment throughout our convening. Now, we are not alone. There are a bunch of people on Zoom. At some point, you will see them on screen. So those of you who are joining us virtually, very welcome. Thank you for joining us. At this particular point in time, I want to invite the Executive Director of the Mojulu Foundation, Paula Hunter, to give her welcome remarks. Let's welcome up with a round of applause, please.
Thank you, Simeon, and thank you to everyone that has joined us here today. According to my surveys of some of the people that have been with us for many years now, this is our 24th convening. Now, we had this little disruption a few years back, something called COVID, that had us not meeting face to face. But I'm so thrilled that we're back in the room together because, as Simeon said, what this week is about learning from each other, helping us advance the Mojulu platform, learning more from the marketplace about their needs and requirements. And it's much more effective to do it in a room versus on Zoom with 200 or 300 people. So we do appreciate those folks that are phoning in and listening in and catching up with us, but we also appreciate the time that you've devoted to us to come to this event this week. One thing I've learned about Nairobi, like most major cities around the world, is there is a traffic challenge at times. So we hope to see many more of these seats filled shortly as people make their way to the event. This is our largest face-to-face event ever. It was it was a little stressful for the operations team when we realized that we were well exceeded our 180 person registration count, but we're pleased to blow past that number, and we'll hope to continue to grow as we have these convenings in subsequent months. But at first, what I want to do is acknowledge we have so many VIPs in the room today that I have to read from a slip of paper because I couldn't memorize them all, which means this growing keen interest and from across continent, but elsewhere in other continents as well that are joining us here today. So I'd just like to mention a few names. If you could raise your hand or stand just so folks know who you are. We have Sowadou Balde from BCRG Guinea. Not seeing him yet. We have Christian Kajaneri from the National Bank of Rwanda. Welcome. I had the pleasure of meeting Christian on his first day on the job in Kigali about a month ago. He didn't even have a picture on his wall in his office yet. So thank you for making the trek over. We have Amadi Kwizimana from the Bank of Burundi. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Abdou Cisse from the Central Bank of the Gambia. We also have Leonard Mwanza, the CEO of the Zambia Bankers Association. Good to see you again. We had some time with him, Leonard, in Lusaka recently. Teddy Subramanian, the CEO of the COMESA Business Council. It's been an exciting couple of weeks for the CBC. Thank you for coming. Blaise Pascal, the CEO of RSwitch. Good to see you again. Gituku Kikira from the CEO of IPSL, local, here in Kenya. Good to see you. I hope you had a productive week last week with our team. We also have Vince Catudio from Higala joining us from the Philippines. Really excited to have you here this week and looking forward to hearing more about what you guys are up to. Joseph Aranate from Trinity Technologies of South Sudan. And then a very good close friend of the Mojulu Foundation, Robert Ochola, looking very relaxed today. Robert is the CEO of Africa Nenda, and again, local here in Nairobi, and a very good friend of the Mojulu Foundation. And then finally, my chairman, Costa Perak from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who is one of the the biggest advocates and supporter of the Mojaloop team. So thank you all for coming. As Simeon mentioned, we've had to shift our agenda a bit as these convenings have grown. The first convening many years ago, Miller probably could tell you, with about 15 people in the room, and they were all technologists. We've certainly evolved. As you just saw from the VIP list, we have central bankers, hub operators, systems integrators, and so it's not just about the technology. As most of you know, I hope you know, that our mission is financial inclusion, but it takes a village, to borrow a phrase, to make this a reality. And so we're delighted to see a much broader cross-section of the ecosystem in the room. And what we're hoping is that first and foremost is that we learn from you. We want to understand your evolving needs and requirements. So we're listening and making sure that we're capturing that. We also want to map that into our product roadmap and our training programs and all the things that we do to help support Mojaloop and its deployments. But also what we really want, particularly for the people that are new to our community meetings, is to understand the value of this community. It's such an intangible. It's hard to put a number on how valuable it is to get in a room and talk to some of the leading technologists in the interoperable instant payments sector. And so I hope not just during these sessions, but in the coffee breaks, the luncheons, the reception tonight, that you get a chance to talk to some of these people that you might not come across in your local country. So this is a great opportunity to make those connections. So as you have questions, or issues or challenges, that you know people that you can reach out to in the community to help address your issues and opportunities. And then finally, I wanted to just comment about my team. We've grown quite a bit since I took this on almost 4 years ago, 4 years in May. We had a team of 2 or 3 people, I think. We're now up to about 14. Very diverse, many different time zones. So these meetings are equally important for us, just to see each other live and in person rather on Zoom. So could the Mojaloop team stand up? I don't want to take the time to name them all, but I hope you all have a chance. Hope you all have a chance to meet them and understand that we are here at your disposal to help you in any way we can to advance our mission of financial inclusion across this continent and around the globe. So with that, I'm going to defer to Steve Haley, our Director of Go-to-Market Strategies, and he will be our Master of Ceremonies for the rest of this morning.
All right, I think those of you who were here in Lusaka, remember I stood up and said, oh my gosh, not used to speaking in front of this big of a group. It used to be back in the day when we were talking about the old ones, where it was literally about, like, my first convening was 15 of us, and so they were a little bit easier. And also I just sat in the back when Sam and a few others just did stuff on the screen. So these are much different. I do want to say, yeah, like Paula and Simeon have both mentioned, this is really big. And it's big even if you think about the number of people who are still stuck in traffic. And then Paul has gone through a big number of VIPs, but then there's a lot of people we haven't mentioned who are here. And I'll go through a little bit of that. And I think that transition that we've been on has been really exciting, and it's had fits and starts. So I want to also thank every one of you for being a part of this transition that we've made over the past, I'd say, 18 months. And not just the logistics here, but then I think I do want to thank all of the VIPs and all the people who've come in from other places who have to go through a lot of bureaucratic challenges to get here. There are a lot of you who actually have to get a lot of permissions, and there were about 10 other government and government-related people who didn't get their permissions to get here in time, and I don't think we were quite aware of just how challenging that can be. So thank you for everyone who really went through the process to get here. We know it's not easy. One thing I do want to mention for those of you who've seen in the past, about a year and a half ago, we developed a partnership with Oxford University to think about how we grow this community. And so I just want to ask Young to stand up very quickly, wave so everyone knows who he is. So as I've said before, these convenings, please give him some time if you have an opportunity. They actually approached us, I think it was about 1.5 years ago, about seeing that there was some potential that this community would grow, to understand how it grew, what are some of the challenges of it, the growing pains of it, what we did to make it grow. And so we'll be working with Young to hopefully publish some of the lessons that we have as a growing community. So please give him your time if he's asking you some questions, but we're definitely excited to have that partnership with Oxford. We have mentioned how many, this is slightly different in that it's very much focused on what the market is asking for and what we'd like the market to, what we'd like to listen to from the market. So I do want to mention that, we mentioned all the CEOs and central bankers, but we do have central bankers, hub operators, financial institutions from, and just raise your hands if you are there, from Rwanda. Can we have the Rwandans please raise their hands? We're so excited to have all of you here. You'll be hearing a lot from them. We have too many countries. I'm sorry, we can't clap for, let's clap for all of them. Zambians, where are the couple of Zambians in the room? We've heard about one. Okay. Not only do we have the Bankers Association and ZECA, but also a number of financial or of technology companies that you're going to hear from tomorrow. Malawi, there's at least 2 people, no, at least about 4 people from Malawi. Can you raise your hands? Over there. Okay. You'll also be hearing from some of them today and some of them tomorrow. Kenya. All right. Again, not just central bank, but also hub operator and a number of technology companies that are here to learn. So please do pass on any knowledge you have for some of the technology companies from Kenya who are here on their first convening. So not to miss Burundi, we already heard of, but I think Amadi is alone at this point. South Sudan, I don't think that they made it here. Anyone from South Sudan here yet? I think that they had some logistics problems. And we also heard from the Gambia here as well. So very happy to have all these countries represented, central banks, hub operators, and system integrators. So for the next couple of days, the way this kind of arc looks like, so that you can see it from a high level picture today, we're really going to be focusing on what are the market requirements for instant payments? What are inclusive instant payments? So outside of Mojaloop, we need to know where are we going as a community of instant payment practitioners and inclusive instant payment practitioners, and without really thinking about what are the tools that we need necessarily to solve those challenges. So what are inclusive instant payments, and what are the challenges to implement inclusive instant payments? And I'll talk about that in a minute. And then in day 2, we're going to start off by talking about some of the different countries, system integrators and hub operators who are experimenting with tools to drive instant payments in their countries, and then move in from there into some product discussions that Paul Macon is going to be leading us on, of what are some of the products that will be critical to driving instant and inclusive payment systems. And then in the last day and a half is when James and Sam are going to lead us on some of the engineering and technical aspects of those products that Paul is going to talk us through. So the idea is really focus market, product, and technology as we go through the week. And so I hope that those who are only focused on the market actually stick around and listen to what the technologists are saying. A lot of times the technologists really love to hear from the market of what their requirements are and making sure that what they're building is actually solving a problem for you. So that's why we've often considered having multiple tracks of market and technology, and we've always decided not to, because we want to make sure that the payment technologists and payment specialists are in the same room with the hub operators and central banks, so that we're actually building tools, technology or otherwise, that solve their problems. So let me get into a little bit of what we want to talk about today. And we introduced a few what we call our pillars a few years ago of where we want to focus, or about a year ago, where we want to focus our efforts. And those 3 pillars are: how do we achieve scale in an instant payment system? How do we connect to other systems? And how do we make deployments of Mojaloop easier? And then underlying those 3 pillars is the foundation of making sure that this product is a quality product. So as you look through we go through the next couple of days, when we talk about achieving scale, what we're talking about there is the use cases that are really going to drive scale in your markets. And so we're going to be looking very strongly at merchant payments, at payment initiation service provider, third-party fintechs that can connect and drive a lot of transactions. So how is it that we go beyond P2P and go to really making sure that a large number of the transactions in your country are actually digitized? And then the next is connecting to other systems, because to a large extent, a lot of instant payment systems were initially designed to be kind of a closed box internal to the country for P2P. And more, that's not something we can really think about. An instant inclusive payment system needs to connect to the outside world for cross-border. More and more, as more instant payment systems grow, connecting those instant payment systems becomes a priority. And so we'll be talking a lot about cross-border payments. And Julie Guetta, who will be talking later on about cross-border payments. And we've got I think we've got about 5 sessions all through the week about cross-border payments. And then the other one is, how do you connect into the other systems domestically? Because payment systems are just part of the digital infrastructure of a country. And obviously, we're Mojulib, we think it's the glue that holds it all together. I'm sure that the people working on identity and health systems and others would say that their infrastructure is more important, but we think that payments is the glue. So we really want to talk about how payments fits into the other infrastructure in the country. So I would like to just ask Sharon, where is Sharon? Is she in the room? Can you stand up very quickly? From RISA in Rwanda, who's taking a very strong look at how digital public infrastructure works for Rwanda. And so anyone interested in how payments fits into the larger picture of digital public infrastructure. And then Robert Karanja, where are you? Sorry, I can't see with the lights here, right over here. So we'll be having discussions about how payments fit into the larger picture of, thanks Sharon, of digital public infrastructure over the course of this week in a lot of side conversations. Anyone interested in that, please talk to the 3 of us. So those are the 2 pieces that I really want to focus on. All right, so I think that gives us an idea of where we're going through the week, and particularly what we're looking at today. And so again, today is really where we want to hear from hub operators, central bankers, other leaders from countries who are the users of instant and inclusive payment systems, of what their requirements are. So while we're going to go through a number of panels, what I really want to ask of everyone in the audience is take the opportunity to ask them questions. We are going to have a Q&A, hopefully, at every panel. Please start thinking about, if I can ask a hub operator anything about what their requirements are, please take the opportunity to do so. We want to make sure, as big as this is, it still remains an interactive community. So with that, my introduction's over. I want to start moving into the first panels, if we can start getting set up for panels.